Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome inside Hilltopper Athletics, another basketball edition here as we're closing out the regular season. As always, joined by head coach Kyle Cooper. Coach, thanks for joining us today, and we got to take the good with the bad. So This is one of these weeks that we have to suck it up and
for sure
put a good face on, but that's all part of the business that we're in.
Yeah, that's why we make the big bucks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the Fairmont game. Regionally ranked team. You guys were probably close to being up in that regional ranking as well. So we knew it was going to be a big game, packed house, one of the bigger crowds we've seen in the last couple years. So give me your thoughts as you're going into the game.
Yeah, I mean, entering the game, we got what we wanted, first off, from a fan turnout. You know, it was very, very good as far as even at the jump of our game, not even just later in the game as people are filling in maybe for the men's like sometimes occurs. But right off the bat, I knew it was going to be a great atmosphere. I thought we were in a really good place as a program, especially coming off of a tough one on the road. And we knew it was on the line. Our players knew it was on the line. And I thought going in, you know, we would have the level of balance on both sides of the basketball we needed to have.
Well, it was. It ended up being a great game to watch.
For
meaning,
sure.
if you're a fan or you're doing TV like I am, great game to watch. Two quality teams making tough shots.
Yep.
I'm going to take the blame for the loss because I jinxed you in the pregame.
Oh, geez.
We were preparing to go on. We're giving our keys to the game. And I said, Dawn, here's what I think the keys to the game. If you look at all of the statistical categories, West Liberty kind of has the edge in every single one except turnover margin.
Yeah.
And I think the difference in the game, if West Liberty can keep that turnover margin close, then I think West Liberty will definitely win this game. And sure enough, I jinxed us. We will bring up one bad number, 21 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah.
But even that, as we were going into the break at the half, I was explaining to Dawn, I don't know if we're in a bad spot because despite maybe the highest turnover half in your career, we're down 4 or 6 points. What was it? Was it 4?
It was a 6-point game, and they hit a runner going into the half that it would have been a 3-point game if we do a better job executing there, and that doesn't go in.
Right. So despite 21 turnovers, you had done enough good in all the other aspects of the game that we knew this was going to be a great game. So halftime thoughts. Did you make any adjustments or the turnovers just what they are?
Yeah, I mean, I think the turnovers were definitely what they are. You know, the one thing that I think stands out, and I know you referenced this in the game when I rewatched it, you know, at one point we were shooting like 65%, and I think it even maybe got as high as 70 at one point. But when the other team is taking 15 more shots than you, no matter whether you're playing elite defense or average defense, you know, you're going to be in a hole. And unfortunately for us, we were playing average defense at the same time. And in turn, I thought that they were too comfortable, especially some of their game breaker type players, but also some really good lifts for them came, you know, whether it was Madeline Huffman or Hall, they just were making some plays that they didn't make the first time we played against them. And then the weight could be lifted a little bit off of the D'Angelos of the world.
Were you questioning the gods when they bank in a shot at the half? Are you going like, what did I do wrong in this world?
Yeah, I actually had somebody tell me that I apparently needed to get right with Jesus after the week that I had. And, you know, as a Christian and a faith-bearing man, I thought I was okay, but I'll definitely have to reevaluate, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happen. So you come out in the second half, and you really took care of the turnover problem.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Played pretty clean for most of the half. Game goes back and forth, and then you guys had one of your typical runs. So talk about what's going through your head then.
Yeah, I'm watching, you know, us continue to just kind of put it on and get into that flow that we've talked about on this podcast so many different times. And a lot of it was we were forcing tough twos, which allowed us to then get rebounds and go out and run. And all of a sudden we get over the hump. We've taken our first, you know, lead of the second half. And I'm thinking if we can get 1 or 2 stops here, we can make this a 2-3 possession game the way we're shooting the basketball and sharing the basketball. And they just kept making crucial play after crucial play. And that's where, you understand the value of this. And I've heard you speak over the years so much about players like this. But people do not understand the value of Katie Darnell, because she's kind of overshadowed by Alyssa D'Angelo. Yes, she averages 15 a game or whatever it is, but she made some winning basketball plays in the form of a lot of offensive rebounds, instinctively making a back cut that was crucial. Those plays go unforeseen by the average person, and they're for sure seen by us as a coaching staff, because those were some of the daggers that we took on every time it seemed like we were right over the hump.
Well, it boiled down to 4 minutes left, and teams are making shots, and each team kept answering the other team, and you guys are knocking down threes at a pretty good clip.
For sure.
Grace Falk heating up in that second half, and I don't remember exactly when this happened in the game, but we had 2 threes in crucial times that went in and out.
Yeah.
One could have pushed the lead to 4 or 5. Another one could have maybe given us a 1-point lead or whatever. So I've complained about the basket on the south end for 20 years. Now I'm going to start complaining about the basket on the north end with 3-point shooting, because it happened to our men shooting at that basket as well. But just an incredible game. Went down to the wire. You're playing a quality team. Hats off to Fairmont.
For sure.
Tremendous free throw shooting at the end of the game.
Yes. Yeah. And they did, they did the little things you need to do in those games, and hats off to their coaching staff. They came out more aggressive than they were the first time, and, made some adjustments on their end that, we worked throughout the game, but early on got us a little bit. But what a great game for women's basketball. Obviously you hate to be on the end of it that we were, but that's a great game for women's basketball in our region and our products.
Now we're moving backward a few more days, and we'll keep this very, very brief, but this is a podcast, so we have to talk about it. You have the game at Frostburg. For the majority of the game, and I'm as victim as anybody, I just got comfortable. Like, we're not playing great, but we're always up 5, 6, 7, as much as 10.
Yep.
And then it just turns in the end. So we're going to skip over all of that. Let's just talk about the shot that put it in overtime.
Yeah, I think we could have done some things executionally better in that moment. We have a philosophy of what we wanted to see happen probably in that scenario, and we didn't execute it, in fairness. Some youth in the moment of that game. We had a couple people in foul trouble, and in turn, they're given an opportunity that maybe we did a lot of things that stacked over the game. I mean, a lot wrong in the last 3 to 4 minutes, and from missing layups to free throws to just not controlling things, playing a little tight on defense. But the reality of it is I do think you can make your own luck a little bit. And, Weekly is a tremendous player that plays unbelievably hard. And she made some luck for herself for the good there over this season. And it all came to accumulation with the Sports Center moment for her. So I can tell you this, though, as a coaching staff, we looked at a lot of different scenarios, actually watched 40 possessions with the team the next day. It wasn't that last second that you lose the game. We had our opportunities throughout, and that's something that I personally am taking very hard at this point in the year. We're better than that. We've earned the right to be better than that, and we need to continue to get better at it.
Yeah, it was just one of those shots, and just to show you how unusual these things are, I was telling my wife at the game, and I don't know how many games I coached. It had to be over 800. I never won or lost one game on a last-second shot like that.
Wow.
Meaning, I've lost at the buzzer a couple times where someone knocks down a 15-footer. Yep. I've won at the buzzer hitting a threes a couple times. But I've never had the half-court heave, either win or lose a game. And I don't think – were you with me when Wheeling hit the half-quarter to put it in overtime in a conference tournament?
No,
Did you coach Courtney Booth?
No.
It did happen to me once. Identical situation. We were up 3. They heaved one from 60 foot and hit nothing but net. Now, we got them in overtime. But I've never went on to win or lose a game with that type of thing. So we'll give the kid credit.
For sure. And we could have been better.
1,000 shot.
Could have been better in overtime, had some things not go our way there. But, again, could have avoided the whole situation.
All right, so we're winding this up now. Winning 1 of 2 solidifies a 4 or 5 spot.
Correct.
Correct. So we go to Notre Dame Wednesday. Quick thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's a team that's got, they're playing a lot of different players. So it'll be interesting to see how they look to attack us and in turn how that affects what we're doing. But we need to take care of us and we need to be consistent on both sides of the basketball. But not a fun place to go play. Notre Dame is always a tough road game no matter what it looks like, no matter what the records are or anything else. So we need to go up there and play good basketball.
Oh, absolutely. Charleston went up there, and that was a
Prime
2-point
example.
game with a minute left.
Yep.
So, and then we finish out the last game of the regular season here against county rival Wheeling University, and we're expecting a standing room only crowd for that. So.
For sure. And we need another atmosphere like we had the other day. So we need a better outcome on the women's side, but we need another atmosphere like this. We'll be honoring our 2 seniors, and we'll also be honoring our 2,000-point scorers from this last weekend. So really would love to see everybody there for tips so they can help pay their respect to the effort that those kids have put into this program.
All right, well, let's put a little bit of a positive spin on a tough podcast. 2 girls go over the 1,000-point mark. Verbalize.
Yeah, so you have, Carly McCutcheon and Ariana Manze that both now have scored over 1,000, and they've done it in a pretty quick clip, 70-ish games for both of them, and in turn, just really proud of them. They're both players that, sell out for us, and they're players that do things the right way, and it's a testament to if you'll take tough coaching and you'll buy in and jump with 2 feet, just how quickly you can get better.
Right, well, they both have had outstanding seasons, outstanding careers, so congratulations to those 2 fine young ladies. And Coach, again, sometimes these aren't fun.
Yep.
You put on a good face for this, and good luck this week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That wraps up this segment of Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We'll be back with men's basketball coach Ben Hallett.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Danny Irwin. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Now I'm joined by head men's basketball coach Ben Hallett. And Coach, this is going to be a fun one because it was an interesting week. So let's start with the latest game. You welcome a team receiving votes in the national poll, a power year in and year out in the Mountain East Conference, and trying to avenge a not-so-great game down at Fairmont. So what were your thoughts coming in?
It was a revenge game for us, and that was something we talked about. And also we knew it meant that if we were lucky enough and good enough to win, that we were going to clinch the Mountain East regular season. And that's something that we talk about all the time. We want to be regular season conference champions. And then obviously it's our rival, Fairmont. And we don't like them. They don't like us. But we certainly respect each other. And they're a really good team with good players, and they're very well coached. So we knew we were going to get their best shot, and we had to play well to win.
Yeah, and I liked how you put that. We don't like them, they don't like us, but we certainly respect each other, because that's what makes this rivalry so great. These are 2 proud programs that going into every season, you're thinking we're playing for a conference championship, we're playing for NCAA regional tournament bids, and in a best-case scenario, we hope we can get to an Elite 8, and both programs have that feel. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And what makes it even more fun, I think we both recruit a lot of the same players. So we go up against them in the recruiting world as well. And we know going into the season that if we want to put ourselves in a position to win the conference, we're probably going to have to beat Fairmont once, if not once, twice. And they're just – obviously they're always up there in the conference standings, and they do such a good job at, the stuff they run, and defensively they're really good. So, again, they're always good. They always will be good, and I think it's one of the best rivalries in Division II.
Yeah, I do too. And it's just they're a tough matchup for us, the way their team's constructed and have been. And fortunately, I was at the NCAA convention the first time we played them. So I wasn't even actually at the game.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a plane, and when I finally landed and was able to log on, it was pretty much in the last 7 or 8 minutes. But this one definitely lived up to its billing. Overflowing crowd, standing room only. We had a number of people up on the track, and the game did not disappoint. You can call it an instant classic, whatever term you want to use. So let's go back to the first half. Mixed emotions, kind of up and down.
Yeah.
So,
Again, there were a bunch of lead changes there in the first half, and I don't know if we were playing that well, but we were playing really hard, I thought. And that's what we talked about. We can't control whether we make or miss shots, but we can control how hard we play. And I thought our guys were playing very hard and not smart at times, but again, super proud of the effort there in the first half. And we talked about that at halftime. If we can just limit the number of offensive rebounds that they had, maybe just clean up a little some things offensively, that we were going to be okay. And we talked about they were going to make a run. We were going to make a run, and they were going to make a run, and both teams did that. I think we got up 11 there in the second half at one point, and they got up there late, and things weren't looking good for us, but we were able to pull out the victory.
yeah, and it was an unusual second half because even when you took the 11-point lead and the crowd's into the game and they had to call the timeout, I think I did say on the air, I said, Don, this is a well-coached team. They're going to call timeout. They're going to get in their huddle, and they're going to come back out and throw the next punch.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
right on cue, I jinxed this again. They came out and threw that next punch, and it got to the point where it was pretty dismal. So we were behind the 8 ball. Malik went to the basket, tried to draw a foul, didn't get the call. What was the deficit when?
I think we were down 2 at that time. Then obviously we had to foul and put them at the line. They made 1 of 2, and then they elected to foul us up 3 with, I believe, 7 or 8 seconds left, if I'm not mistaken. And we went to the line, and Alec made 2 free throws, and then we got a crucial turnover there. And we were able to get a jump ball, and the arrow favored us, and we ran an OB play that we typically don't run and got a foul. And Ben Sarson made 1 of 2, which tied the game. And I thought Steve Canada did a really good job the last possession defensively. And Zion Dobbs, who's played really well against us throughout the years, I thought Steve did a really good job of zigzagging him and making him take time off the floor. And he took a contested 3, and luckily it didn't go in, and we went to overtime.
Yeah, that was and that's the one great thing about your system when you, by nature, full denial, full court press, that pays dividends at the end of games because you're not trying to be something that you're not, like a lot of teams are. So give your guys credit. Never hung their head. Timely free throw shooting at the end of regulation. Alec West hit the big ones, and you are right, and we'll talk about that a little bit, how difficult it is to guard people on these possessions at the end of the game. So overtime, we get into overtime, and it goes your way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You dug in defensively. You're getting stops. You're up 5, 7, whatever. But, boy, and verbalize a little bit of a coach about how difficult it is to keep people from just rim running and getting layups.
Yeah, you talking at the end of the game?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what's hard because you're trying not to foul. So you don't want to be aggressive and put them on the line and,
stop the clock.
But by nature, it's you typically play maybe less aggressive. But I thought Steve did a really good job of putting really good ball pressure on Zion Dobbs without fouling him. And that's hard. And we haven't practiced that as much this year as we probably should. But that is something that we talk about and we work on in late game situations. And I tell you, I was really proud of how we played when Bryce fouled out. When your leader and your so-called best player fouls out and you got to play, 5 minutes of overtime without him. I thought our guys did a really good job. And a guy that really stands out to me is Christian Montague, not because he was 11 for 13 from the floor, but just his leadership, and he didn't get riled or he didn't let things, outside of the game bug him. He just kept playing, and I thought he was the star of the game.
Yeah, and on this podcast, I usually steer away from individuals because sometimes we get too caught up in individuals, but I was going to bring him up. Christian was just amazing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I always talk, he reminds me of Drew Holiday for the Bucks. Big physical guard, and he looks like a man among boys sometimes.
Yeah.
He can go up and rebound the basketball, and just every time we needed a timely play, including the first 3 in overtime. So, yeah, if you're going to pick a guy that had a career night,
Yeah.
he definitely did that. But again, I think and the Hilltopper fans will probably concur with this. It was just a great team effort, start to finish. Teams traded punches, got off the canvas a couple times, and if you hang in there and keep working at it, sometimes the world favors you, and you ended up getting a great win. Let's talk about the significance of that. For me, I think one of the most unusual, most difficult things to do is to win 12 championships in 13 years. I think it's unbelievable. And we talk about the legendary programs of the world. Kansas has got a similar run in the Big 12. But you just don't see this. You just don't see it. So talk about that just for a second.
It's people, the general fan, they don't know how much work goes into this. They just think that maybe we roll the balls out and we've got pretty good players and we go out there and win it. It's hard. And these guys from the the day they come into school, we're working with these guys. And from a coaching standpoint, assistant coaching standpoint, like we recruit these guys from the time that we're able to the time we get them on campus. And that's a big part of it is we got to recruit really high level players and not only guys that are good on the floor, but guys that we like to be around off the floor. And then this is an everyday thing with these guys. We work really hard, and even when these guys are, they have an off day, they're coming in the gym and they're getting shots up on their own and they're working on their craft. And so it's nice to see rewards and championships, but for me, it's just really gratifying that the hard work and everything that we put into it, these guys are able to get rewarded at the end of the year.
Right, and I think we all feel blessed, lucky, whatever word, because there are also kids and teams that work hard and never get to experience that championship. So I've never taken it for granted, and it's been a huge part of my life. Let's talk about the significance of that game. Conference championship, guaranteed number 1 seed. So not that we're looking past these 2 games this week, but for the viewers who are trying to make arrangements for the following week, we play Friday night at,
I believe, 8 o'clock. I'm not sure on that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I'm just worried about tomorrow's game. I haven't looked at the guy to ask on that's Mike Lamberti. He's got the brackets memorized right now. So if I'm wrong on that, I apologize.
It might be 8:30. But, yes, so MEC tournament at Wheeling, West Liberty did secure the number 1 seed. Let's just briefly talk. Went to Frostburg, kind of led coast to coast.
Yeah, that's what's hard is you go into a school that's maybe doesn't have the best record, but they're still very dangerous, and just really wanted our guys to play the right way. And I thought we did at times, and then it got sloppy at times. But it's tough because everyone was talking about Saturday's game. Even, it was Tuesday, we had to go to Frostburg, but all these guys are hearing about it is Saturday's game versus Fairmont. So just for us to be able to go in there, play well at times, get a win, I think you take it.
Yeah, and one of your terms is always trap game, and it's kind of a trap game. So we have Notre Dame on the road, and then we have Wheeling in another revenge match here at home. Let's not really get into that. What are you telling your team going into these games? You've already clinched number 1. You won a regular season championship. Is there any different message, or are you still just going game by game?
There is a different message. It is we've still got a lot to play for, and obviously we've got the conference wrapped up, but the region's important to us. And I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I talk about the region stuff to our team about every day. And so this game tomorrow is crucial. They're 16-10. They've got a really good record, and if you remember correctly, we lost to these guys at their place last year right before Thanksgiving, and it ruined my holiday. So I want to go back and hopefully we can go there and play well and get a win, but it's going to be really tough, and our guys know that.
Yeah, people forget they're 16-10.
Good.
Like, this is going to be a good game. Then, of course, we have Wheeling here for the finale. So, interesting week, and I'm just going to share this with you because some sports, it's apples and oranges, and we have a nationally acclaimed wrestling program here with the nationally acclaimed wrestling coach, and he sincerely was asking me yesterday, well, the men wrapped up their championship, so what do you do in your sport? Will Coach Hallett maybe rest guys or whatever? I'm like, not in basketball. No. You're playing, and for us, there's more on the line because we want to host a regional. We want to get the best seed possible in a regional. So there is no that. But I just thought I'd share that with you because unusual question. But
I'll go talk to Danny on that one.
Once I explained it to him, it made perfect sense. So, well, all right. Well, that's going to wrap up this segment. Again, congratulations, big week, and let's keep it rolling.
Thanks, Coach.